Luminance specialises in developing sensory processing sensitivity, a natural high sensory intelligence present in 30% of the population, co-creating with the power of humanity to consciously evolve towards balance. Hello and welcome everybody. I am so pleased to have you here with me today, whether you're tuning in on the Luminance YouTube channel or the Luminance podcast. A very, very warm welcome. Today I am going to be talking into the area of joy and play and fun. These areas are crucial to our success development and to fulfill our purpose as high sensory people. Now, that might seem counterintuitive. Well, why is it important that we need to talk about fun and joy and play? Well, these states are something that I talk about a lot. There was a recent video that came out where I was talking about the importance of taking time out to do something that you love, to get out there, whatever it may be, to walk in nature or some kind of activity that you love, and the importance of engaging in these experiences with ourselves because of the frequency that it creates and how that supports us to really engage with ourselves, and it also really supports us energetically to get further ahead in our business. And there's another video recently that I did there, as I say. You can check that out on the YouTube channel. Now, the area that I'd like to talk about today is what it means for us to be engaging in an experience of joy in our lives. And why is this important? Well, this area of life is essentially linked with the truth of who we are. So this area of self, should I say, is linked with the truth of who we are. When you consider that all human beings have a natural area of competence, all of us come in with a fascination or an interest in a particular area of life, and we also have a natural ability in that area. Not all of us pursue that, and of course I'm talking about our purpose here. So some of us are in the experience of being in rejection to our purpose. Perhaps we don't like the fact that we have a natural competence in a particular area of life and we would rather be doing something else. Or perhaps we do know, but we just haven't got the courage right now to really pursue that. The key piece here is that when we are in our area of expertise, when we're in our zone of genius, with that comes a powerful experience of joy. It is nature rewarding us for being in the very area that we're born to serve in. When it comes to our experience as high sensory people, we are just the same. Now, as you know, I often say that when I'm talking about the differences between high sensory and non-high sensory people, this is never a comparison between the two. We're supposed to be working in symbiosis. We're supposed to be working together to fulfill the vision of balance for humanity. When it comes to our purpose as high sensory people, it's really, really key for us to understand that being in our flow, being in our zone of genius is all about an experience of play. It's an experience of joy. No matter what it is our area of expertise is or our area of purpose is, the feeling of fun for us is really, really important. And this is what I really want to talk about today. For many of us, we're often under the impression that unless things are really difficult and we're pushing really hard and we feel like we're struggling, then we're not making progress and nothing's really happening. And it makes sense because, you know, we're driven at school, we're driven through university, we're told that we've got to work hard in order to succeed. And yes, of course, we do need to be committed to the work that we do. We do need to be working hard. But there's a difference between working hard and working in a state of resistance and fear, essentially. When we choose to engage in a feeling of fun, in a feeling of play, then everything starts to change for us. And this has certainly been my experience. Like, for instance, setting all the technology up today to create this is, for me, really good fun. I love the experience of it. I love figuring out what I want to talk about. I love playing with all the settings on things, getting the views of the cameras right, all that kind of thing. Like, I just love all that experience. The work that I do with people on a day-to-day basis, where I'm facilitating and training high sensory people, that for me is the most rewarding work that I have ever done throughout my life and throughout all of my career. This experience of fun is shifting our state energetically. It's actually aligning us with a connection or an integration with the truth of who we are and the empowerment of who we are. And these words are often, they're controversial words, talking about empowerment, talking about, talking about alignment. These things mean different things to different people. However, what is really key here is to play with the idea that when we are in a place of joy and we are in a place of connection and we're in a place of a sense of alignment with the work that we're doing, then we start to engage in a natural synchronicity with the world around us. Wonderful things start to happen for us. Doors start to open. We find ourselves presented with wonderful synchronicity. We seem to attract more abundance to ourselves. Life just seems to work better when we're in a state of fun and play. And if you think about that when you were younger, whatever it may be that you used to love to do, like when you're perhaps with a group of friends and you're doing something that you all love, you feel connected, you feel safe, you feel seen, you feel acknowledged, then in that state there is a deeper connection that's happening. There is an experience of love at a deeper sense of self, within a deeper reality of the world around us, which makes a huge difference in our external experience. When we choose to engage in a place of joy and a place of fun within us, there is a match that happens externally. Now, again, you might be listening to this and thinking, well, I don't have any evidence of that, and how do you know that's the case? This is an invitation to try this. It's an invitation to pursue what matters most to you in life and to find where the fun is for you in that and to start to run some experiments. Now, there's a couple of things you can do here. One of them is that you can also just engage a sense of play and a sense of joy and a sense of love. In simply engaging that state, even if you're struggling and having a difficult time in whatever's happening in your life right now, if you're just choosing to be in the moment, to be present right here, and to engage in a feeling of joy and fun, then what happens is you actually start to become that energetic state, and that energetic state starts to become your reality. Now, what happens externally is the world matches our state internally versus externally. So if you're in a state of resistance and fear, then the external world is going to reflect that for you. And you can test this and you can try this. The other area that's really important here is that we need to be pursuing our area of joy, expertise, and purpose. And again, you might think, well, I don't know what that is, and how am I supposed to find out what that is? Well, it's not about figuring it out and then suddenly there being a neon flashing sign in front of you saying, yes, this is your purpose. Your work here is done and you can rest now. Discovering our purpose is one thing, and sometimes there is a big flash of light, and we get this all encompassing experience that we have, that we understand what we're here to do. But usually, what happens is it's a feeling, it's a sense of excitement, it's a sense of joy, and when we see ourselves in action, when we get the feedback from the world that yes, we're actually good at this area, and we start to understand and recognize our value, then we start to feel this engaged sense of joy, this engaged sense of purpose. So these are the two areas of my invitation to start to engage with this and start to explore this, is to play with the feeling of joy anyway, to play with the feeling of just being in the moment and choosing to pursue thoughts that make you feel good and to let go of thoughts that aren't making you feel good. And the other thing is to start to engage in activities or start to pursue the area of life that matters to you. When I say what matters to you most, this is one of the ways that we really can understand our purpose, is by being very honest with ourselves about the area of life that really that has always mattered to us, an area of life that we sense there's an imbalance, there's work that needs to be done in this area of life. Especially for us as high sensory people, we're all about wanting the world to be in balance. We want to do good work in the world. We want to help to make a difference. Now, even if we're pursuing something that is out of balance and we're pursuing something that we can see the world really needs help with, when we engage in that work, it feels good to us. It feels joyous. We feel like we're in flow. And especially, as I say, as we start to get this external validation that what we're doing is worthwhile and it is something that we are here to pursue. We get that indication that we're here to pursue this particular area. And by getting into that, what's happening is we're starting to change our relationship to the world within us and the world around us. And this is something that my invitation is just to explore this. It's just about trying to be as present as you can in the moment and to choose to be in a place of play and joy and fun. Now, how does that work on a day-to-day basis? So on a day-to-day basis, things go wrong, right? Things become stressful, we get let down, things don't work for us, we put a lot of work into a particular area and nothing happens. There is the challenge of life not going as we want it to, quite literally on a day-to-day basis. We fall over our shoelaces, our clothes get caught on the door handle, our shopping bag, splits, whatever it may be. When these experiences happen, we have an opportunity to extend a feeling of love for ourselves. Self-love is hugely empowering, and it's a part of this process that I'm sharing with you today. When we feel something that goes wrong, or we feel a reaction in our bodies, we feel a resistance, we feel unhappy about something, whatever it may be, if we extend out of our bodies and extend a feeling that is expanding outside the typical shape of our body. So rather than being stuck in the resistance of the pain and the problem within us, what we're doing is we're allowing our awareness just to extend a little bit outside of that, and to hold that expanded feeling in a state of love, in a feeling of love. So it's not saying, oh, this has gone wrong and now I'm supposed to be loving myself. Well, I don't feel like doing that right now because everything's gone wrong, and I don't see how that's going to work for me. That's not what we're doing. You're still experiencing the feeling. You're not identifying with it and trying not to make it worse by diving into it or processing it excessively. What we're doing is we're actually holding the awareness of ourselves almost like in a bubble of love. So we're just recognizing that we're struggling right now, something's gone wrong, that's okay. We can take action, we can do whatever we need to do about it, but we're not going to accentuate it, we're not going to make it worse, but we are going to hold it just in an experience of love. By doing that, what's happening is we are choosing to get back into a state of fun and joy as quickly as we can. So we're allowing the feelings to pass through us. We're allowing the fear to pass over us. We're not allowing fear to take over our minds. Fear is highly effective at quite literally obliterating our mindset. If we allow it to take over us, then it really does become all pervasive. It becomes all consuming. So a part of what we're doing here is we're working with the mind. We're letting go of the habit that we have that insists that we're the problem, that life has gone wrong because we're not good enough, or because something happened in our childhood, or we can't seem to be successful or work out what we're doing. When we turn our minds in on ourselves and we hold a state of fear, then life reflects that. Life becomes really difficult. We tend to find ourselves in more and more difficult situations. Things go wrong for us more and more. We're not being ourselves. We're not being engaged. We're not in our truth when we're around other people. We're in this lower frequency of state. So the idea here is that we are doing our best to let go of that as soon as we can. We're choosing to hold ourselves in a state of love, just as we would if a child fell over and hurt themselves. We pick them up and we do what we can to heal them physically, whatever we can, and just to help them to get back on their feet and just to feel good again. And we do all of that with an experience of love, without judgment. It's easy to say this, and it is harder to implement it, but once you get into the habit of doing this and you choose to allow yourself to be present and to be holding yourself in an experience of love, a wider, expanded experience of love, then it is much easier to engage in this feeling of fun. And that then starts to get us out of our comfort zone in a good way. We start to think about, okay, what is it that I actually really want to do? And what is it that I find most enjoyment with? And this is where it comes back to the piece around our purpose again. Our purpose is, we're not supposed to be processing and thinking about our purpose to the nth degree before we go and do anything about it. But that's not how it works for us. It's not how it works for human beings at all. The way that we pursue our purpose is recognizing is that it's a journey. It's an ongoing evolution. I am very clear that my purpose is here to help and align high sensory people with the truth of who they are and bring that into service in the world. I'm very clear that that's my purpose. However, my work in that area is continuously evolving and changing. I am growing and building relationship with how my own high sensory intelligence works, how I'm able to feel into the truth of someone to help them experience that for themselves, how I ask the questions, what I do when I'm facilitating. All of that grows and gets more, it gets more and more within me. And I have ideas about things I want to do next within Luminance. I have ideas that I want to do at all sorts of levels in the areas that I work with. So what we're doing is we're following our intuition, we're following our insights, we're following a sense of what feels good to us. And this is about being honest and allowing ourselves to experience a greater part of ourselves outside of our heads and our minds. Our heads and our minds are not who we are. They are designed to keep us alive. They stop us from getting run over, and they stop us from starving. We go and buy food, we look after ourselves. Our minds have a negative bias. It's looking for things that are going to go wrong in order to keep us alive. We can't identify with that. We have to allow ourselves to experience a greater sense of self, and by exploring this feeling of fun, this joy, and this state of love, when something goes wrong, we start to allow ourselves to engage with and feel this greater reality of truth that experiences within us at an energetic level. So following our purpose, we're getting insights from our body. Our body is giving us feedback as to when something feels aligned and when something feels right for us. Sometimes it's a thought, but it's coming from a greater part of ourselves that we then comprehend at an intellectual level. But the experience of that starts in the truth of who we are at an energetic level within our bodies. So this episode is not about finding our purpose, but it is about the link between purpose and joy and play and why these things are so important. So when we consider our purpose, one of the ways that I like to describe this is if you imagine that you have a beautiful garden in your home, and you know the garden inside out. You have sat in that garden many, many times. And one day when you're down towards the end of the garden, let's say that 3 doors appear in the wall. And you think to yourself, okay, that's interesting. I've not noticed these doors before. Perhaps you clear the vines on the wall or whatever, and you notice there are these 3 doors. So the invitation comes, okay, so which door are you going to walk through? You could walk through them all, of course, but which one are you going to choose first? You're going to get a sense as to which door you want to walk through. One of them is going to appear a little bit lighter. One of them is going to resonate for you in some way, and you're going to choose to walk through that door. Once you walk through that door, you're going to be in another room, or let's say that you're in another garden, and it's another beautiful garden, and in that garden, you meet people, you have conversations, and there are another set of doors on the back wall of this garden too. And this is how it works with our purpose. So right now, if you're sitting in your home and you're thinking to yourself, well, I just don't know what my purpose is supposed to be, there are doors in front of you. Those doors are, what are you going to do to give yourself the opportunity to start to walk in the direction of what your purpose is? So as you choose one of those doors, when you walk into that garden, you'll immediately think to yourself, okay, no, I shouldn't be in here. These are the wrong kind of conversations. These are the wrong people. I don't need to go in that door. I actually need to come out that door. I need to go into another door. So maybe you misread that. Maybe the other door flashed and resonated for you, but you thought, no, I'm going to choose this one. So whether you end up in the wrong room or not, then you're going to choose to come out and then tune in again and think, okay, I need to be in here. So let's say you're now in the room that does resonate for you. You're having the right kind of conversations. It's making sense for you. Things are resonating, and you want to explore further. So in that room, things are going to start to happen. You're going to create connections. You're going to start to find people that are doing similar things that you'd like to do. It may not be clear yet, but something about this room resonates for you. So once you have the information and you have the right conversations or whatever it may be from this first room, you're then going to choose from the next 3 doors. And again, hopefully you'll choose one that resonates and stands out for you, and then you're going to go in through that door. And then the same thing's going to happen again. It may be a conversation, it may be an actual experience, maybe something happens that shows a new part of yourself. Maybe you're invited to do something, to coach or to speak or whatever it may be that resonates for you. It could be anything, right? So whatever it is your purpose is. Once you've then experienced that a little bit further, what's happening is you're starting to witness yourself in action. So you're starting to see the value of who you are by interacting in an area of life that just makes sense for you, an area of life that just resonates for you. Well, all we're doing here is continuously following the feeling of what feels right, what feels joyful for us. And we're pursuing that, and we're trying new things, and we are following the feeling of what feels fun and playful, and what feels engaging and aligned in these experiences. And that journey becomes the evolution of our purpose, the evolution of the relationship with our purpose. New things emerge as we take action and as we move forwards in the area of what makes us feel great. Nature knows what she's doing. We are rewarded when we are in our area of expertise, when we're in our zone of genius. Something about it just feels right for us, which is why when we are stuck at home and we're just sitting in the same garden doing nothing, worrying about what door we should go through, maybe we sit there for weeks on end just staring at the doors thinking, well, I might walk through the wrong one, and if I do that, what's that going to mean? Am I going to be safe? That's just the negative bias in the mind trying to keep us safe. That is not the part of us who knows what it's doing. We're going to have to walk through one of those doors eventually. However, if we do sit there and we just look at the doors and we overprocess, or we plan and think, well, there might be this behind that door, and therefore I'm just going to brainstorm everything that I possibly can around what might be happening through that door. That makes us feel bad. It's not a good feeling for us. Human beings do not like to be stuck in the same scenario round and round without clarity of what we're doing, and without the feedback from the external world that we're on the right path. So we are rewarded, quite literally, spiritually, emotionally, when we do take that action, we walk through that door, and we're going in the right direction. We get a sense of alignment. It's like, okay, I see what I start to get a sense of what my role is here. I understand that I'm a piece of the puzzle, and that I have a role to perform. I have a purpose here. So the idea is that we're pursuing that door by door. We're just going through until eventually we find ourselves in an advanced position within our purpose, whether we have our own business, or we find ourselves speaking on stage one day, or we've written a book, or whatever it may be. We are gradually we're moving to the right place because we're following the feeling of what feels true and aligned for us. And that is what I mean by this experience of joy, by this experience of fun and play. My invitation for you is to follow that. It is to play with what feels right. It's to walk through some of these doors, to take the little leap of faith, to try something, to get into a conversation with people who do things that somehow feels good for you, good to you. It feels like something that you really want to do. Or maybe you want to go and be among other people that are working in a particular area of life that makes sense to you, or whatever it may be. I know that many of us are introverted, and getting out there and networking and speaking and speaking to people, that kind of thing. Yes, there is challenges around that. But what you'll find is when you actually get closer to understanding what your purpose is, you'll find that it's perfectly aligned to who you are and the way that you're best suited to work, and the way that's most fulfilling and exciting for you. So this is all about choosing the state of fun. It's about choosing the state of play, and to follow that, and to understand that nature's trying to unfold a path of joy for you by inviting you to be honest about what really matters to you, about who you really are. And underneath all of that is an experience of joy and fun and play in the world. And you can support that by choosing to be in a place of fun and joy on a moment-to-moment basis as far as you can. And when things go wrong, just allow yourself to be embraced in that experience of love, that wide, expanded feeling of love, that you're being held in a bubble of compassion and understanding. And that will bring you back into a place of empowerment and alignment. And if you're on the pursuit of what matters most to you, it will all start to fall into place, and you will experience the world externally shifting as your internal world aligns to the truth of who you are. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. I very much look forward to seeing you next time. If there's any way that we can support you here at Luminance, please do reach out to us. You can visit highsensoryintelligence.com or inluminance.com. That's in luminance as in being in luminance. And I very much look forward to meeting you soon. We have a quiz that you can check out. There's lots of different ways that you can reach out to us. I'd love to meet you. So thank you so much again, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.